This program is brought to you by Tinkatrocious Toys Camo Troopers. Now you see them? No, you don't.
Casey Jones, the hard-hitting vigilante in sweatpants and a hockey mask. Casey Jones made his first appearance in the 1985 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic series. He was originally intended to be a kind of parody of other comic book masked vigilantes, but unlike the Cape Crusader or the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, Casey Jones's motivation for vigilante justice does not come from a tragic backstory. No, Casey Jones is just a guy who watched too much TV and decided to take justice into his own hands. In the comics, Casey becomes an important friend and ally to the Turtles. However, in the 1987 cartoon series, he took a much less prominent role, appearing in only 5 episodes, although he did get some decent screen time in the live-action movies of the 90s. Regardless, Casey Jones remains a fan-favorite character to this day. This is a 1989 Casey Jones action figure.
Actually, I'm over here.
Oh, sorry. Wrong hockey mask. Okay, this is a 1989 Casey Jones action figure, and as you can see, it's pretty haggard.
Hey, why don't you take a look at the mirror, pal? Then we'll see who's haggard, huh?
Oops. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to cause offense.
Whatever.
Frankly, I don't even know why you're here.
My arm is broken, you numbskull.
I know your arm's broken, mate. Calm down. Just trying to be humorous. Get it? Humorous?
Ugh, you're the worst.
Now, rough condition aside, this thing is still a really cool figure.
Damn right I am.
I'm pretty sure one of my brothers had one when I was a kid, and I just thought that hockey mask was so badass. And especially after watching the live-action movie, Casey Jones was definitely a favorite character. Now, this looks like a very familiar repair job. I'm sure I had a couple of figures back in the day with taped on hands. And in all seriousness, this tape has done really well to last this long. I mean, it looks like this tape is fairly ancient, but as you can see, the hand is still there after all these years, even if it is a little wobbly.
Ow, 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 ow.
Sorry, you know what? Give us a sec. Okay, Mr. Jones, I'll be with you in just a second. Hey, does this smell like chloroform to you? Yeah, that should shut him up for a while. Now, on to business. As perfect as that tape repair is, we'll be taking it all off and reattaching his arm properly. He's also got a lot of paint missing, so we'll be touching that up. The only other thing we might address is that you can see his right arm is pretty sun-bleached. I'm guessing he never paid attention to the old slip, slop, slap campaign.
Don't tickle like a silly sausage. Slip on a shirt, swap on sunscreen, and slap on a hat.
I'm not 100% sure about trying to fix the discoloration. I don't know whether peroxide treatment would work or would actually make it worse. Since all the discoloration is on the high parts, I might see whether I can polish it a bit and then go from there. But first things first, let's get that tape off and give him a good clean, because he is a dirty boy. Well, that looks about how I expected it to be. Interesting that he has the sun bleaching on his left arm as well. But anyway, let's go get him cleaned up. Well, with just a bit of a clean, he's looking heaps better already. But this coloration on this arm's actually even worse than the other one, so I'm going to use this one to do a bit of a test first. I'm going to get a bit of 2000 grit sandpaper, just give it a light sand on the back here, and just see if I can unearth a bit of the original pigment. If the color comes back at all, then I should be able to polish this out maybe. I'm not sure whether I want to try peroxide or not. If I do, I should probably crack his chest open to get the arms out of there. I don't want to risk discoloring his torso. I've also noticed that his pants are actually quite discolored as well. So I'd say he's had quite some time in the sun. Right, I'll just pick the worst part here that's really yellow. See if he make any difference. Now you might be able to see I have removed a little bit of plastic with the sandpaper, and it's still very discolored. I don't think polishing is going to be the way to go, and I've got a suspicion that peroxide is probably just going to make it worse. So I think I might have to either ignore it or paint it. For the sake of curiosity, I'm going to do a little test on the back of his leg too. And I've just noticed with the light catching it here, you can see that someone's actually taken slices out of his leg here for some reason. Weird. Yeah, that made very little difference at all, if any. So I think I'm going to be painting these. Why not? So I've got some paints here that will hopefully be a close-ish match. I'll probably have to tint a few of them to get them dead right. This purple looks pretty close. The blue I might have to lighten it a bit. This stuff I'll probably have to do a bunch of tinting to get it quite the right shade. May or may not have some success there. I tend to be very hit and miss with my tinting, but yeah, we'll see how we go. First I'll test how close this purple is. You know what, that's actually a really close match. I think I'll go with that. Now we'll check the blue. Already I think that's going to be a little bit too dark. I'll just try a bit and have a look once it dries too, because oftentimes you'll find that paints are different colours once they're dry. It's not that bad, but I think I'll lighten it up a little bit from the look of that. And this is likely nowhere near what I actually need, but we'll have a look. Actually, that's pretty dang close to the body. Might be able to go with that straight out of the bottle. That's awesome. We'll give it a crack. Alrighty, I'm just going to go get some boiling water and I'll pop his legs off and maybe even his wrist too, get it out of the way, and yeah, we'll get painting. I'm just going to give it a quick sand so that the paint will hopefully have a good surface to stick to. That's something I hadn't considered before now, is whether this paint will stick with this plastic, but yeah, we'll find out. He's all sanded up. Let's get painting. I'm gonna dilute this paint down a little bit with some isopropyl alcohol. I'm hoping that thinning it out a bit will mean there will be fewer brush marks. Fingers crossed. after the first coat. That's looking not too bad. It's a little dark. It might need a little bit of a tint of red in the mix, so I might tint it down a little bit and see how we go. Alright, after another couple of coats and some tweaking of the tint, it's alright. It's a little bit dark, but all in all it's not too bad. It actually looks a little bit better in natural light than under these lights that I'm working with now. I think I'll leave it at that. I'll quit while I'm ahead. Does it look better than it was? Maybe. Have I made it any worse than what it was? Probably not. Alright, I think we'll tackle this shirt next. A couple of coats of paint and I think it looks a lot better. Color matching is probably not 100%, but at this point I'm not that bothered. I think it looks good. Now I guess we can paint his tracky dacks. It's looking pretty good. I found with the legs that really watering down the paint with the isopropyl and then just brushing it on really fast and thin, it worked really well. It's just kind of darkened it a little bit rather than putting on a thick coat of paint. It looks like I might have to do a little bit more there, but yeah, it's coming up good. Now obviously that green is a little bit darker and more vibrant than the paint that's left on the foot, though I do think that that is pretty faded, so I don't think I'm going to bother tinting it. I think I'm just going to paint it straight out of the bottle. After 3 or 4 coats, these are looking pretty good. Not sure how close to the original color they are. They're probably a bit different, but I dig it. I guess now that I've got all the main areas painted, it's time for the detailing. So obviously I'll redo the white here. I'm actually thinking I might paint his shoelaces on just for something a little different. Also, I've been thinking instead of just painting over the wear marks on his mask with white, I might actually highlight them with silver so it kind of looks like the paint's just worn through to the metal underneath. I know that most hockey masks aren't made of metal, but still I think that'll look pretty cool. Maybe at some point Donnie made him a metal mask, and he's obviously been headbutting people a little bit too much. Anyway, let's get back to painting. drying. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Camo Troopers. Now you see them? No, you don't. You've watched the cartoon. Now you can bring all the covert action to your own home with the stealthiest action figures around. Lord Creep and the Techno Ninja Clan are hell-bent on world domination. It's up to you and Camo Force to save the day. Sir, the Techno Ninjas have blocked the way with boulders.
Not to worry, soldier. That's no problem for the Infiltrator stealth tank. Nice try, Lord Creep, but you're gonna have to try harder than that to keep out Camo Force.
Curse you, Camo Troopers! You win this round! The world is safe for another day thanks to Camo Force.
And thanks to you, Cadet.
Buy all 6 figures and stealth attack vehicles in store today. Camo Troopers. Now you see them? No, you don't. Camo Troopers and Camo Force are registered trademarks of Teenage Mutant Ninja Toys. Figures and vehicles sold separately, batteries not included. And now back to the Retro Tinker. Brought to you by Tinkatrocious Toys Camo Troopers. In stores now. Camo Troopers. Now you see them? No, you don't.
Alright, now that everything's painted, I'm just going to give it a coat of this satin varnish here. That should protect everything and give it a little bit of a gloss. Alrighty, everything's looking pretty good. I guess we'll put it back together and then we'll work on fixing that hand. Bebop here is an older repair of mine. I had to do the exact same thing with his wrist, and all that I've done is threaded a screw into his wrist and then that just screws straight up into his arm, and I think it's a really good fix because you still have that bit of posability and it's not really obvious that it's been repaired, but obviously if you keep winding out his wrist comes off, but in terms of posability I think it's a really good fix. So yeah, all I need to do is drill a hole, thread the screw in, cut it to size, screw the other side in, and yeah, happy days. Actually, now that I've got this little arm nub out, I'm coming to realize just how little material there is behind it because it goes right into his elbow. What I'm thinking I might do is just keep drilling my hole through the middle of this, glue a piece of stainless rod inside it, put it back in his arm, and then I will just glue this onto that piece of rod That way it should still be posable. It should look pretty normal. Just don't want to risk drilling through or cracking his elbow or something silly like that when I could just glue this back in. I'm just going to trim that down a little bit to help it go back in a bit easier, because these things are a really tight fit and the other side was pretty hard to get in. So what I'm going to do now is put a bit of super glue on this, push the bar in, and then I can trim it off and then drill this hole out to the right size and glue it on. We'll just do a little test fit before I glue it on, and yeah, that's lining up not too bad. It's a little bit out. Must have drilled me holes a little bit off center, but hey, it's not going to keep me up at night. It's good enough for me. Alrighty, the glue's dried, and as you can see, he has a full range of articulation in his wrist now. Now, one of the great things about Ninja Turtles toys is the amount of accessories they have. I don't have many of his accessories. I do have his golf bag and his baseball bat. That's all I've got at the moment. I'll probably pick up more. But this thing's going to be very handy in just a second. Shall we wake him up? Wake up!
Whoa, what's going on?
Welcome back.
What the heck just happened?
Oh, well, you see, Shredder just came through and he knocked you unconscious.
Shredder?
He lies! Don't listen to him. Anyway, I fixed your hand. How's it feel?
It feels great. Did you bathe me?
Had to be done, mate. Couldn't risk infection.
It feels so clean. I hate it.
Well, there's gratitude for you. Anyway, ready for your glamour shots?
Sure, I guess.
And there we have it. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think he looks a lot better than when I started, at least. He definitely looks good next to the other Turtles figures. He even looks great hanging out with the camo troopers. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, give the old algorithm a tickle. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.
Turtle power!